everyone. Thank you all for coming out. My name is Randy Stacy, and I am the chairman of the board of the Fulshear Area Chamber of Commerce and owner of Texas Insurance Agency in Fulshear. On behalf of the chamber and its board of directors, we'd like to thank each one of you for being here this morning. I would like to start this morning's event by recognizing a few of our special guests. First, I would like to recognize our speaker for this morning, Mayor Tommy Kirkendall. Tommy, can you please stand? Also in attendance this morning, we have a number of elected officials, and I'd like to recognize them at this time. When I call your name, if you would please stand, and if we could hold our applause until all have been recognized. Rob Cook, Constable, Precinct 3, Fort Bend County. Annie Rebecca Elliott, District Clerk, Fort Bend County. Stephen Gill, Council Member, Fulshear. Charles Gregory, candidate for Senate District 18. Gary Jansen, Justice of the Peace, Precinct 1, Place 1, Fort Bend County. Lois Colkhurst, State Representative District 13, candidate for Senate District 18. Tricia Krennick, Council Member, Fulshear. Daniel McJunkin, Mayor, Simonton. Tiana Messick, Council Member, Fulshear. Vincent Morales, Mayor, Rosenberg. Richard Morrison, Commissioner, Precinct 1, Fort Bend County. Andy Meyer, Commissioner, Precinct 3, Fort Bend County. Troy Nell, Sheriff, Fort Bend County. Pete Olson, Congressman, 22nd District. James Patterson, Commissioner, Precinct 4, Fort Bend County. Laura Richard, County Clerk, Fort Bend County. Eric Scott, Mayor of Brookshire. James Shoemake, Judge, 434th District Court. Jimmy Thompson, Mayor of Sugar Land. And Mary Rose Zadunkowitz, Mayor of Weston Lakes. Please join me in welcoming these. Have we failed to recognize any elected officials that are in attendance this morning?
Dwayne Gregory.
Dwayne Gregory, thank you. Thank you for being here. Our presenting sponsor today is New First National Bank. Terry Crockett, Tom Shirley, we appreciate your tremendous support. Thank you. This event would not be possible without the participation of great sponsors like New First National Bank and all the others who have sponsored this event. And we appreciate your support very, very much. It is because of great partnerships with these sponsors and members of the Chamber that have made this first year of the Fulshear Area Chamber of Commerce a huge success. This time last year, our chamber was just a conceptual idea shared by local business owners. With encouragement from Cheryl Stalinsky and the belief of the business community that the timing was right, a plan was put into action. The chamber hired Don McCoy as executive director on December 15th of last year and opened applications for membership January 1st, 2014. Today, we have surpassed our first year goal of 175 members and are well on our way to our goal of 300 members by January 2016. None of this success would be possible without a very dedicated and hardworking board of directors and executive director. I would like to recognize them at this time. If you would please stand when I call your name. Vice Chairperson Rebecca Hafner with the Independence title. Terry Crockett with New First National Bank. Secretary Tricia Wright with Zapata Designs. Mark Ball of Pro Image Promotional Products. Nancy King, Keller Williams Premier Realty. Michael Martin with Martin Mortgage. And our Executive Director is Don McCoy. The Chamber would also like to give thanks to the City of Fulshear, and especially Cheryl Stalinsky and Mary Meyer for their invaluable support that they've given us during the startup of this Chamber. Thank you. Now I'd like to ask Ty Kirkendall to come forward and lead us in our invocation. Please stand and remain standing for our presentation of colors and pledge.
Bow with me, please. Dear Lord, thank you for this wonderful day that you've given us. Thank you for letting us all come here together. Thank you for all this food that you've provided for us. Thank you for all the freedoms that we enjoy daily. Lord, please be with those men and women who are protecting those freedoms on a daily basis. Be with our leaders that they may make wise and just decisions. And be with all of us as we go throughout the rest of our day. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
The Lamar Consolidated Independent School District Junior ROTC Color Garden will be presenting our colors. I would like to invite Board Member Terry Crockett at this time of New First National Bank to the stage. Terry will lead us in our pledges.
Please join the Huggins Elementary Choir as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
America, and to the
Please remain standing as we recite the pledge of the Texas state flag. Please join me. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one God, one and indivisible. Thank you. You may be seated.
Today is Mayor Tommy Kirkendall's birthday. We'd like to take a moment to celebrate his birthday. Mayor, if you and your family will come here in front of the stage. Cue the cake. We're supposed to have a cake coming up. Don, can you check on that, please? It's always something. Let's do it. Mayor, if you and your family will come up on the stage. Y'all just come right around here if y'all want to. Cake's coming later, Mayor. The mayor's lovely wife, Rhonda, and son, Ty, would like to make a birthday presentation to the mayor at this time.
So for everybody that knows Tommy, he's a very busy person. He works as an engineer, and all of his extra time is spent with his love, the city of Fulshear. He doesn't have much time from very many hobbies. And so I worked really hard to try to find a gift that would represent the city of Fulshear that he would enjoy. So my family and I visited all of the numerous businesses around Fulshear, and with their donations, I was able to make a quilt, a t-shirt quilt of all of the businesses in Fulshear. Happy birthday, honey.
Thank you. And let's give another hand to the Huggins Choir, please. Oh. A little belated, but we've got the cake now. All right, make a wish, Mayor.
Wait, I think I get one wish. Let's see, this morning it's going to be the state of the city goes well. I did make sure they didn't have 47 candles on the cake, or 48 candles, but had just 2. So I'm getting old, you know.
Stay up there with me. I'll read your bio.
Okay,
And then just lead you right into it. Just let them look it up.
Give 'em a-
Mayor Tommy Kirkendall was originally elected to office in May 2010, and the voters of Fulshear elected him to his third term of office in May 2014. Mr. Kirkendall, a lifelong resident of Fort Bend County, has resided in the city of Fulshear since 2000. Mr. Kirkendall was re-elected as the president of the Fulshear Development Corporation in July 2013 and previously served the city of Fulshear on the Fulshear Planning Commission from 2002 to 2010. He has modeled his service to Fulshear and guides his daily decisions as mayor on the slogan, "Fulshear deserves the best." Mr. Kirkendall graduated from B.F. Terry High School in Rosenberg, Texas. He graduated magna cum laude from the University of Houston with a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering degree. He has volunteered in various roles with the American Society of Engineers Houston branch, serving as president of this 3,000-member organization in 2007. Mr. Kirkendall serves as an ex officio member of the Fulshear Area Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Kirkendall is a licensed professional engineer working as vice president and manager of Civil Corp, LLC's Houston branch, providing civil engineering and surveying services to governmental, municipal, and private clients. Mr. Kirkendall has been married to his wife, Rhonda, for 27 years. They have a 17-year-old daughter, Alyssa, a 15-year-old son, Ty. Their children attend Foster High School in Lamar Consolidated Independent School District. Rhonda has been active in volunteering with her children's schools, strengthening child abuse laws in the Texas legislature, and pursuing a photography career. The Kirkendalls are active members of the Avenue Inn Church of Christ in Rosenberg, Texas. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Tommy Kirkendall.
Wow, that's some opening to the morning. I was telling someone I think I had a 40th birthday party with about 20 friends, and you know all the good gifts you get from a 40th birthday party. They think you've got one foot in the grave, but to have a 48th birthday and to share it with 500 of your closest friends for breakfast, this is phenomenal. So thank y'all so much, and thank you, Rhonda, and everybody who had a hand in preparing this morning. I want to welcome everyone here this morning to the 2014 Fulshear State of the City Address. And I want to especially thank the Fulshear Area Chamber of Commerce for tackling the 2014 State of the City event this year. It's not a small undertaking. I also want to point out and give thanks to the committee chairperson, Rebecca Hafner, and board member Tricia Wright for planning and the organization to get us here this morning. I'm truly humbled each time I have the opportunity to stand before you and represent the city of Fulshear, but any honest person will tell you and admit that the city doesn't run itself alone or with a single individual. And I'd like to recognize my city council members this morning by letting them stand again and be recognized by you. We have our Mayor Pro Tem Stephen Gill, Council Member Jeff Roberts, if y'all would stand, Council Member Tricia Wright, or Tricia Krennick, excuse me, and Council Member Tayana Messick. I believe that J.B. Collins was unable to be with us this morning, but these individuals really have been instrumental partners, and they're supportive of the vision and the direction that we're taking the city. So let's give them a big round of applause. Okay. Thank y'all. Also, I'd like to ask our city administrator, C.J. Snipes, along with all of the city's department heads and staff who may be present this morning, to stand. If y'all would stand up. Now, if you've ever seen a juggler at a circus or some other event, you may have seen them holding a few different things in their hands. There might be four things: a bowling ball, a knife, a fire stick, and then an apple. And I use that illustration, and I never really thought about it, because the employees of the city, really sometimes they have to be so strong and to be able to hold the weight of the big bowling ball. And there's other times when that apple comes by and they have to be so gentle and be able to take just a bite from it. And so now you can understand what some of the challenges this great group has to manage when the city is growing at such a rapid pace. And I thank all of you for your dedication to the city. I'm also grateful and want to thank my mother and my two sisters for being here this morning. So I don't think my sisters have ever attended this event, so hopefully I won't disappoint them, maybe like I did when I was a young, snotty kid. But finally, my wife and my son and my daughter, who's unable to be here this morning, she came ill yesterday and had to go to the hospital for some tests, so she's at home ill, but so I'd appreciate your prayers on her behalf. But I want to personally and publicly thank Rhonda and Ty and Alyssa because they do make some sacrifices for the jobs that I have and the work that I do. They know that I do love it, and they're very supportive of that. So thank y'all very much. Now, I'm going to have to deviate from the script just a little bit. This is not in your program, but I want to ask Cheryl Stalinsky to come up here on the stage. While she's making her way up here, the city of Fulshear has grown from 5 employees to 32 under my 5.5-year tenure. Needless to say, the early days were tough trying to manage the day-to-day business of the city while marketing, promoting, and branding Fulshear's new culture and character that I promised to our residents back in 2010. Right over here, Cheryl, in front and center. You can't hide back there behind the flag. We've developed an award that we have termed Fulshear's Impact Award. The term impact conveys the idea of this award in its truest meaning. It indicates someone who has had a tremendous effect on the city of Fulshear. That's effect with an E, meaning something brought about by a cause or an agent or a result from that cause or agent. The person receiving this award has been the driving force and agent of some great things that have resulted in the city of Fulshear. I want to recognize this special individual who I've wanted to thank in a special way for a couple of years now, who has gone above and beyond for branding and marketing a positive image for the city of Fulshear. I don't make all ladies cry. And she'll probably be speechless with that's a feat as well. This person, as she stands here, is known in many circles, especially around Fort Bend County, as the face of Fulshear or Miss Fulshear. This person is our own Economic Development Director, Miss Cheryl Stalinsky. Now, Cheryl and I have been through numerous events that have helped us develop a good friendship and a respect for one another. I can remember just after being sworn into office in 2010, as we were approaching our first July 4th celebration, Cheryl sits in my office at City Hall, and there's a hurricane or a monsoon ensuing, and she looks to me to make the call on whether to postpone, to cancel, to reschedule, or to go on with the Freedom Fest. And so these are the fun things that we've struggled with together. It was a couple of years later that it was a scorching heat over 100 degrees with no relief in sight. And I believe that's the year we literally almost worked Cheryl to death when she had her heart attack following the Freedom Fest. Cheryl's continuously worked to wrangle a faithful group of volunteers every year for every event and to make sure festivals and the shows went on without any interruption. The downtown festivals that Cheryl's been instrumental in promoting and carrying on serve as a beacon of the small town feel and character everyone visiting or moving to Fulshear longs to experience. Also, as a result of her efforts with the downtown area, Fulshear's been a 3-time nominee for the Texas Downtown Association's Best Business and Best Promotional Event categories, finishing in the top 3 in Texas cities. Now, Cheryl and I have went to work together at the International Council of Shopping Center conferences in Las Vegas and in Texas. And let's just say what Cheryl, CJ, and the mayor does in Vegas should stay in Vegas. Wink, wink. We have some funny stories we could tell you about that. They are clean, though. All joking aside, we were recently at the ICSC conference in Dallas. It was 7 o'clock in the morning, and we had gathered together for breakfast before we worked the city's booth at ICSC. Cheryl comes dragging up to the table, barely with her eyes open, and sits down looking for that first cup of coffee. Not 2 minutes later, she interrupts Mary and I, who were eating breakfast. Hey guys, hey guys, hey guys. I think I know that person over there at that table. It's like she was lifeless just 2 minutes before that. Another minute passes. I'm pretty sure I know that fellow over there. I think he's the developer or something. And so she jumps up and strikes a conversation with this seemingly stranger to sell Fulshear and to promote her business relationships. So that's the kind of passion that Cheryl has for selling Fulshear to developers and potential residents alike. So as I present you with this award, I want to read the inscription to you. And she probably didn't know that Don McCoy asked her what her favorite saying or passage was, and it happens to be a Bible verse. And it's Romans 8:28, and it says, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good. So Cheryl, I'd like to personally thank you for the long days, the long nights that you spent to make Fulshear a name and a place that people generally want to identify with. Well, you can't get the mic yet. I'm in control here. There's one other thing that's really kind of funny. When we were started earlier this week to plan some final stages of our State of the City speech here today, Cheryl, Don McCoy, and Mary and I met together at City Hall. And we were sitting there in the room going over our slides. And Cheryl was talking about the Freedom Fest, or the Christmas Parade of Lights, and the Rock and Roll Christmas. And she just happened to make a comment. She said, you know, we have invited every person that we can think of to be the grand marshal of our parades, and we are totally depleted of candidates. And in the back of our mind, one of the things we were going to make was Cheryl the grand marshal of our parade. So with that, I hope Cheryl is free tomorrow evening, because she is the grand marshal of the Rock and Roll Christmas and Festival of Lights parades.
Thank you. I just have one thing to say. This morning I turned to Don McCoy and I said, I don't think I've ever been hugged as much in my life as I have this morning. And as I look out here at my rather expansive mailing list, I want to say thank you, and I want to tell you that this has been the most wonderful time in my life, and it's been the easiest thing I've ever done because I love the mayor, I love Fulshear, and I love all the people I work with, and I love all of you. I've made a lot of good friends, and thank you so much. Thank you for this. I'm honored.
I did have to tell a little white lie of why I needed to get Kenneth, her husband's, cell phone number. So we're both engineers, so I said I had some structural problem that I needed to ask him advice about. So please forgive me for that.
Okay, you're on your own. Okay, go for it. Thank you.
Okay, we're in business here. The slide changed. Let's first start out with just a little bit of history. I'd like to take everyone back for a quick look, or if you would just, first of all, take just a quick look around the room. Just glance back and see all the tables that we have here. There are nearly 500 people that are in attendance here today. 500 people that are interested in hearing more about the city of Fulshear and the growth that we have occurring. Now, when I moved to the city of Fulshear in the year 2000, our entire population could sit in this room. So just think about that for a minute. All the residents of the city of Fulshear would fill up all these tables, and there would be no one left in town, not even the police chief. We'd have to have him here too. Now we've grown over 744%, bringing our current population to over 6,800 residents within the city limits. Now, although this growth and this development is not necessarily new to Fulshear, let me take you back to a time in the year 1888. Fulshear was no more than a small agricultural community centered around Churchill Fulshear's cotton gin and flour mill. The closest town of note would have been 3 miles north in the city of Pittsville, or the town of Pittsville. Now, this is not probably a name of a town you'd even recognize. If I asked, maybe for a show of hands, how many of you have heard of the town of Pittsville? Okay, see, just a few people. The reason being is because Pittsville's population dwindled considerably after they refused to provide right-of-way to the San Antonio and Aransas Pass Railroad. There's a great article on this, as I'll talk a little bit more about Fulshear Magazine. That's on your table on page 19. Dan McJunkin has written a great article on A Tale of Two Cities, so I encourage you to read that after the State of the City. But on the other hand, Churchill Fulshear embraced the change and the growth that a railway would bring, and he granted right-of-way through his land. By 1889, nearly all of Pittsville's population was diminished, and by 1890, the town of Fulshear was laid out, and we had been granted a post office. However, if you look at this picture here as we transition to the next, Fulshear has a history of embracing change and accepting guided and sustainable growth and development in our community. First, I want to look a little bit and tell you a little bit about what we've done this past year. The city limits and the ETJ have grown quite a bit this last year. Today, our city limits, as you can see in yellow, spans approximately 11 square miles, and our extraterritorial jurisdiction in blue encompasses another 45 square miles. That stretches from Interstate 10 to the north to the banks of the Brazos River to the south. In January of this year, the first time in our history, we surpassed the population milestone of 5,000 residents. Now, this allowed us to expand our statutory ETJ, or extraterritorial jurisdiction, from a half mile to 1 mile. This allowed us to take in some additional area in our ETJ. In addition, surpassing this milestone has allowed the city to begin work on developing our home rule charter, by which this document will govern ourselves in the city and its growth according to our citizens' desires. This is one of our top projects for the coming year, and I'll mention this later. Our ETJ also expanded once again this year with the annexation of 1,000 acres comprising the Waller County Road Improvement District Number 1 along the vital Interstate 10 corridor at Igloo Road. Reaching Interstate 10 has been a goal of the city since its inception in 1977, and in addition to adding the territorial makeup of the city, the agreement to annex will also add future revenues to the city's coffers, as it includes a strategic partnership agreement which will allow the city to split the sales tax proceeds from that area with Waller County RID and also from the proposed developments occurring in that area. As some of our projects are in their beginning phases and inception, we are pleased to have completed some of those, such as our comprehensive plan, which was adopted in May and had been underway for nearly 3 years. This is a cornerstone and a foundational document meant for the city, and it's meant to be a living guide to assure the orderly development, both now and long into the future. We do have zoning in the city of Fulshear, but I call it zoning light. So this comprehensive plan, as the developers look to develop future projects in the city, the comprehensive plan will provide the vision and the character that our community expects if they want to be part of Fulshear's makeup. Now, part of that comprehensive plan, including an update to our major thoroughfare plan. The major thoroughfare plan serves as the underlying framework of all development and future mobility in the city. We worked with Fort Bend County, major landowners, developers, and residents to adopt this cohesive plan. Excuse me. Now, along with that, housing starts and strong commercial activity are the key to our growth. When you combine all of this growth with a very solid fiscal policy at City Hall, this leaves the city in great financial shape starting this year. We finished out 2013-2014 fiscal year with a little over $5.4 million in our general fund reserves. And for a city in a budget of our size, that's a tremendous amount of money. But for huge projects and infrastructure, it's not so much. Therefore, we're able to reduce the city's ad valorem tax rate by 1.8 cents, bringing it to 17.9 cents per $100 valuation. All of this means that the city's ad valorem tax rate will remain the lowest for any city collecting property tax in Fort Bend County. And this is excellent news for all of our residents, especially when we take a look at the average home sales prices of our master plan communities. This past year, I was excited and thrilled to find out that 2 of our communities made the top 20 list of best-selling master plan communities in the nation. Cross Creek Ranch, which is a Johnson development project, was ranked 12th, and they've sold over 400 homes this year, while Firethorn to the north in our ETJ ranked 20th and have sold nearly 350 homes. Overall, in all of our developments that are occurring, 4,800 homes have been added by these master plan communities since they burst onto the scene a few years ago. The overall average home price throughout our city and our ETJ is approximately $375,000. However, this past year, 2014, in Johnson Development's Cross Creek Ranch, they have seen a steady average home sales price of over $490,000. The homes, in fact, are selling so quickly that Churchill Farms, just to the north of Cross Creek Ranch, is expected to complete their project 2 years ahead of schedule. Our exemplary school districts are one of the main reasons that young families are making their Fulshear their home. Providing accessible and quality education remains a top and a high priority in the city of Fulshear. While many of our young residents have attended schools in the Katy Independent School District for some time, the first Katy ISD elementary school in our city limits opened this past August. Randolph Elementary, as seen here, exceeded their expected enrollment with nearly 850 students on the first day of school. Now, while Katy ISD makes their debut in Fulshear, the long-standing Lamar Consolidated Independent School District is growing and opening Fulshear's first high school campus in fall of 2016. LCISD has broken ground, and Churchill Fulshear High School and Dean Lehman Junior High have an expected enrollment of over 4,000 students. In an effort to sustain the residential growth, we've been proactive, as I mentioned earlier, in recruiting commercial development. We're recruiting commercial development as an effort to increase our sales tax revenue, and we do this by attending trade shows such as the International Council of Shopping Center conferences. Just this last month, as I mentioned, we visited the regional conference for Texas in Dallas, and I'm happy to announce that we had a very positive meetings with several national brand retailers and restaurants. Now, each of you should have a copy of Fulshear magazine that's been developed and produced by Fulshear Media Partners. Fulshear magazine debuts today and will be distributed across Texas through Barnes & Nobles, H-E-B, Timewise, and other major retailers. The Fulshear magazine media kit version that was used by the city at this recent ICSC conference, it caught the eye of many developers and all those who visited the city's booth. This will help sell Fulshear as Fort Bend County's premier address. Our commercial growth has also been rising this past year, which we're thankful for, with nearly 360,000 square feet of additional retail going on to the FM 1463 corridor. A lot of that commercial space is already spoken for. Meanwhile, in our downtown area, the downtown district continues to thrive with that small town shopping feel. Fulshear residents will have numerous options for shopping, entertainment, and dining out without traveling more than 10 minutes. Now, one of the largest anchors that we have coming to Fulshear is the highly anticipated H-E-B in the market at Cross Creek Ranch. This is probably the biggest question I get over the last 3 years. So with all this anticipation over the past 3 years, we're happy to be able to finally show you the proposed development layout that debuted at ICSC this last month by the developers Reed King. Well, with the multitude of the residential and commercial construction projects coming our way, Our permitting process has been under a strain. So the demand for permits and inspections have increased exponentially. Probably the last 4 or 5 months, our inspections have been ranging about 1,000 inspections per month, and it's put a great strain on our staff. Therefore, we decided that we needed to find an innovative way to streamline the process for our staff and for our customers, increasing our efficiencies. This year, we launched MaintStar. It's a web-based platform for permit and inspection applications, tracking, and the accounting. Launching this program has brought an unprecedented level of communication and innovation to our permitting and inspection process, allowing our inspectors to issue a pass or fail report in the field accompanied by photos, so that a contractor can check their status in real time with quality and reliable feedback. Envision, if you will, a contractor standing with his hard hat, his tool belt, looking at his iPhone, receiving notification of his or her permits or inspections for his next project in Fulshear. Public safety remains one of the #1 priorities. Now, in Fulshear, you never know what you're going to come across. I can remember one of our new officers making a comment that, "I've gotten a call to respond to a horse in downtown. How do I handle that?" One of the other officers just snickers and said, "Open the trunk, there's a can of feed there, and the horse will come right to you." Or maybe earlier this last summer, you heard that Fulshear officers captured the alligator in the McDonald's drive-thru line in a video that made national news. I'm not sure if we're requisitioning brooms or not, but I'll have to check into that. But in an effort to stay ahead of the growth, the police department has done great work by adding new officers, equipment, and vehicles this year. Perhaps maybe their most popular addition has been the city's first canine officer, Belle. She's become a department icon in addition to fulfilling her normal patrol duties. Belle has been a favorite of the community, both young and old, and it's not uncommon just to have a family stop by and visit Belle at PD headquarters, which is now located at a satellite office in front of the Fulshear Business Park. Now, while Belle, the canine officer, attends many serious events such as National Night Out, school openings, etc., she can also be seen on Fulshear PD's Facebook page, daydreaming of bacon, chasing squirrels, and even taking over the chief's desk. Belle was joined recently by KC, an audio animatronic dog who's proven to be a great public relations addition as well. Casey's best friend resides just a few blocks away at the Fulshear Simonton Fire Department. Casey and Sparky can be seen together at our city events, racing one another, riding in the parade safely, and visiting with the children, as you see there in the photo. Like our audio animatronic dogs, the city maintains a great working relationship with the Fulshear Simonton Fire Department and our Emergency Services District Number 4. Both of these served for the fire protection needs, both for the city of Fulshear and much of the surrounding areas. I'm just thankful I don't have to worry about all the fire trucks and all of those things. That's Herc Meyer's worry. As Fulshear continues to grow, though, we're constantly presented with the challenge of keeping our community unique with that small town atmosphere that brought so many people into Fulshear, and that's why they wanted to call Fulshear home. Initiatives like Keep Fulshear Beautiful have allowed us to maintain the character and the small town charm that so many has come to love about Fulshear. Keep Fulshear Beautiful has become a semi-annual tradition for our community with cleanup efforts and recycling events in the spring and in the fall. The city recently partnered with Forever Fulshear, one of our local nonprofits, to coordinate these activities, and the most recent one was held just 2 weeks ago. In spite of the ominous weather forecast, we had over 100 volunteers that showed up for Keep Fulshear Beautiful. When people join together in a common work, they help really build the sense of community. I worked, for instance, picking up litter along FM 1093 with both of my kids, while others walked along Bodark and Fluellen Creek, collecting over 60 bags of litter. That was unbelievable. But we made a day of it. We also had other projects occurring as a community. We had an Eagle Scout fence project that was completed at our community center and park. A community garden was planted by our local Girl Scouts at City Hall. We had water conservation education by North Fort Bend Water Authority. We had a butterfly garden dedication, battery disposal and collection at our farmers market, and we topped it off with some good old-fashioned barbecue cooked by the city's own Jerome McKinney. Now, I believe that these events go a long way to encourage and promote the small-town atmosphere and bring a sense of pride to our community. As I was preparing for this, I saw a quote earlier this week that came through my email, and it said, the people are the secret sauce. They're the ones who differentiate the experience. So I think if you'll think about any event or endeavor you've been involved in, it's the people that make a difference. And we struggle with how do we maintain our small town character and charms, and I believe it always comes back to the people. Also, one of the best ways to maintain small town character and charm is to keep open those lines of communication between the city and our citizens. I've always maintained an open door policy between myself and citizens. However, we recently enhanced some of our communication efforts with the addition of modern media like Facebook, Twitter, and the like. But also, we added some good old-fashioned face-to-face interaction between the residents and the city personnel. Events like Fulshear in Focus and Coffee with the Cop, hosted by our city administrator and also our police chief and police department, are monthly. They're open to the public question and answer sessions that provide citizens the opportunity to ask those questions and get a direct reply face to face. Now let's look a little bit to our future. As we move forward into the 2014-2015 fiscal year, our focus in Fulshear will continue on foundational building blocks, such as infrastructure and the city's organizational structure as a whole. With the recent interest and expansion of the development to the city's west side, the needs exist for expanding the city's original water and sewer plant capacity to serve those developments. My goal and my vision has been to regionalize the water and sewer services to the areas both developing inside the city limits and in our ETJ. In the quest, though, to begin planning for a regional wastewater plant, we saw a need to look at what long-term requirements would be needed to sustain our current development trends. As a result, the city accepted qualifications for a regional water and sewer master plan study just this past month. The study will do a few things. It'll help define those long-term requirements and allow us to determine how much capacity and land we need for a regional wastewater plant, along with where a suitable location may be out on the west side of the city. The city of Fulshear is part of the North Fort Bend Water Authority for conversion to surface water as mandated by the Fort Bend Subsidence District. However, we must continue to expand our wells and our storage capacities to complement and back up the North Fort Bend Water Authority's plan as they purchase water from the city of Houston. The city's engineering plans have been prepared, and we are awaiting bids to drill a new water well and provide the installation of a new 250,000-gallon elevated storage tank near Huggins Elementary School in the heart of the city. Likewise, as we undergo the master water and sewer study, our current downtown sewer capacity has reached a critical stage. The city plans for short-term expansion of the existing plant that's in the middle of FM 1093 in front of City Hall and provide for some needed capacity improvements that will last us about 3 years. This will allow us time for a permanent, long-term regional solution that can be developed, financed, and implemented. The city also received qualifications last month to prepare the city's first comprehensive drainage study and plan. Now, while our master plan communities have done a great job providing for their needed detention and flood prevention measures, we do have segments of the original township that were developed before any drainage standards, requirements, or criteria were in place. Our goal will be to identify the needs of the city and then determine how best to address and fund those projects. The second biggest question from when's HEB coming is when's FM 1093 going to be expanded? FM 1093 is split up into two phases. Phase 1 from the Grand Parkway out to 1463 is anticipated to bid in August of 2015. Phase 2 is in the city of Fulshear from 1463 west to James Lane. And it was originally designed and plan to work around Metro's 100-foot right-of-way on the south side of FM 1093. Now, when Commissioner Myers approached the city with the possibility of utilizing Metro's right-of-way and eliminating the taking of valuable commercial property fronting Cross Creek Ranch, I said that's a no-brainer. Therefore, the schematic and environmental studies are completed. As part of the environmental process, next week on December the 9th, TxDOT and Fort Bend County will hold a public meeting from 5:30 to 7 at the Irene Stern Community Center to collect final input on the project development and the design. Pending completion of this public involvement process, we hope that the environmental report will be approved by the end of 2015 and clear the way for construction in 2016. Along with that, you'll notice on the left side of the screen, you see a yellow intersection up and down or north and south. That was in November of 2012. The city was approached with the idea and concept of the Fulshear Parkway. This is a public-private partnership to construct a 6-mile-long, 200-foot wide right-of-way that will accommodate a 4-lane boulevard section with a 120-foot wide landscape median and a 12-foot wide multi-use trail connecting FM 1093 on the west side of Cross Creek Ranch up to I-10 near Peterson Road. The city, being eager to partner with such a project with Fort Bend County and all of the cooperative landowners along the route, agreed to the consent of the Fulshear Parkway District in the 2013 legislative session. In 2015, our goal will be to develop a funding strategy to bring this preliminary plan to reality, and this will open up an additional 7,000 to 8,000 acres of land rich for development on a signature thoroughfare providing premier access. The city has been working closely with Fort Bend County Commissioner Myers and the Road and Bridge Department to continue our aggressive streets rehabilitation program. In 2015, nearly 60% of the city's asphalt streets will either receive an asphalt overlay or complete rehabilitation of our base structure. Also, Fulshear, working with Fort Bend County, has 2 projects on the Fort Bend County Mobility Bond Program, and those should get underway later this year. It's challenging, though, to manage the high demands of Fulshear's day-to-day activity and the new development while having an eye and a vision to look forward to the long-range issues and the needs that will guide and shape the city long after all of us are gone. It's really hard to do that. In considering Fulshear's tremendous growth and my long-term vision, the time is right for the city to develop its own home rule charter. I've received and reviewed applications from a cross-section of residents from the city of Fulshear. As we begin 2015, one of my goals will be to have a Home Rule Charter Commission in place that really meets 3 criteria. They're going to respect the history that we talked about earlier, where Fulshear came from. They're going to have to share the goals and the vision that are outlined in the comprehensive plan adopted by City Council. And they'll have to understand the fiscal needs to balance commercial and industrial development along with the great residential development that we have occurring. We could go on and on this morning to discuss city operational improvements, maybe planning for a new city hall facility, city ordinance codification, and even more developments that are on the horizon and under negotiations. However, I'm reminded of the saying that the mind can only absorb what the bottom or the seat can endure. So I'd like to close this morning, with mentioning another milestone that was referred to earlier in Fulshear's advancement and growth. Perhaps one of the largest business community accomplishments this year has been the formation of the Fulshear Area Chamber of Commerce. This has been a vision for many years, and we finally saw it come to fruition as was mentioned in January 2014. They have a board set up and in place that has the determination, the vision, and they put forth the hard work to make it a success. They were fortunate to be able to locate and hire Don McCoy as their executive director, and I'm convinced that he's the right person at the right time for the right organization. And I'm proud to say that they're currently over 180 members strong. The Chamber's ultimate goal is to make Fulshear a great place to grow by contributing to the community and fostering connections between members and residents. Businesses have been eager to join and want to see the Chamber and their city thrive in every way possible. Our signature community events have been fortified and strengthened by the synergy between the city's Community Development Department and the Chamber. If you poll residents, merchants, and visitors, they will all agree that the St. Patrick's Day Festival, the Freedom Fest on July the 4th, and our Rock and Roll Christmas Festival have all been better to date than they have in the past as a result of this association, despite our weather challenges. I do want to take the opportunity to promote one of these events that's a collaboration between the Fulshear Area Chamber of Commerce and the city. It's tomorrow, Saturday, December 6th from 5 to 9 in downtown Fulshear. We'll have our Festival of Lights Parade and Rock and Roll Christmas. These are always a great event. And you know who the parade grand marshal is going to be now. In closing, I'd like to just reiterate again, Fulshear has so many great things occurring for which I am truly grateful and has truly made us Fort Bend County's premier address. I want to thank the Fulshear Area Chamber of Commerce again for hosting the State of the City. And I know, looking across the room and visiting with a lot of you this morning, that many of you have played a real significant part in Fulshear's history and in our continuing transformation. I thank each of you for being part of our State of the City presentation this morning. I'd like to wish all of you a Merry Christmas. Thank Allison Wynn here at Safari, Texas for the great venue, the great decorations. I love the Christmas time of the year, and may God bless each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, for your time this morning. We're all very excited about Fulshear and what the city means to our area. And we all look forward to continuing to watch Fulshear grow, and we appreciate your service. Once again, I'd like to thank our presenting sponsor this morning, New First National Bank, and all of our other sponsors. Without y'all, this event could not have been possible. As we go this morning, if you would like, you're welcome to the centerpieces on the table. If you'd like to take them, feel free to do so. Again, we'd like to thank all of you for being here this morning, and we'd like to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Good morning.